Hey guys, Redneck Mini 14 here. The other day I did a video on my top 5 ranch or farm guns. This video I think I'm going to do my top 5 truck guns. Now I actually have 6 guns here because the first one's just going to be an honorable mention. But to me, when I think of a truck gun and what I look for in a truck gun would be something that's fairly inexpensive, generally short, when we're talking about long guns, which most of these are long guns. Something short, something inexpensive, probably something old that's already got some wear on it, so you don't have to worry about putting wear on a nice brand new gun. So those are just kind of some of the things that I look for in a truck gun, and obviously a reliable gun, which all of these are very reliable options. So let's just go and start off with our honorable mention, because most people think of a long gun of some sort when thinking about a truck gun, and most truck gun videos consist of almost all long guns. But I do like to show a little love for the handguns because they're small, compact, and you can put them more places that you can't put a rifle or a shotgun. You can take them more places that you can't take a rifle or a shotgun. Generally, you're going to put it in like your glove box, under your seat, or whatever, behind the seat maybe. This is just a Korean high power, so just 13 rounds of 9mm. Just a copy of a Browning high power or P35. I'm not sure how old this one is, but it is pretty old, pretty worn, and wasn't too expensive compared to like a Browning high power, and would definitely be a good choice for a truck or a car gun, just a vehicle gun, and it would also be a good farm gun, so like in your utility vehicle. But yeah, that's the only handgun I'm going to talk about, and any handgun really, as long as it's a reliable gun, so like a 1911, a Glock, some of my Ruger P series pistols, Berettas, Smith & Wessons, revolvers, anything that's a good reliable handgun would make a good truck gun. Now, on to the actual list of 5. We're going to start here with an AR pistol. This particular one is set up for hunting, so not necessarily what I would choose for a truck gun, but it's the only AR pistol I have. This particular one is a 10.5-inch 300 blackout, and it has a 3-9 by 32 scope on it, so kind of a small compact scope for a nice small compact AR. No stock, no pistol, wrist brace or arm brace, whatever they call that, because I don't necessarily need that, but it does make for a nice compact AR-15, and if you wanted to put a brace on it, you could do that, and it would be easier to shoulder like some people like to do, but I didn't really buy this, to like flip off the ATF or anything. I just kind of bought it for hunting, for alternative method seasons. So yeah, a good AR pistol. You can build them for pretty cheap. I built this one for probably $500, maybe, not including the scope or the magazine, but good, inexpensive option. As far as AR-15s go, because AR-15s you can go from like $450 AR-15s all the way up to thousands and thousands of dollars. That's just a good, nice, inexpensive compact option. Next, we're going to go with a sporterized military surplus rifle. I say sporterized because if you get one that's been chopped down or whatever, had a scope attached to it that normally wouldn't be attached to it, then all of the value has already been taken out of it, and so it's not necessarily a gun that you're going to necessarily be worried about having stolen or rusting or whatever. This is a Lee Enfield, what do they call these? Number 5 Mark I. It is a jungle carbine. The front portion of the stock has been chopped down, the handguard on the top has been removed. But other than that, I think it is pretty much just your standard jungle carbine. There hasn't been a scope attached to it. The barrel is still the same length. It hasn't been chopped or anything. Everything else is pretty much the same. And it's, you know, just a good, reliable rifle. I bought it for $100 from a lady who didn't necessarily know what she had. But $100 for a rifle like this, even if it's sporterized, makes for a good truck gun because it's nice and short, it's already beat up, and it's not an expensive rifle. I'm not necessarily worried about somebody stealing it, although, I mean, I would be a little sad because it's, you know, just a good shooting rifle. A regular military surplus rifle would also do the trick, like a Mosin Nagant or an SKS or something. You know, one that's not been sporterized, but if it's been sporterized, then, you know, the value that people look for in a military surplus rifle, it's already been, you know, thrown out the window because it's not as desirable as a true military surplus rifle. Next, we're going to go with a lever action. Now, I know I said go with something cheap, and this is probably $600 worth of lever action right here. I actually think I bought it for $5-ish, but, you know, today you can probably find them for $6 something. This is a Marlin 1894 44 Magnum, so it's not your cheapest lever action, but it's not your most expensive one either. But this is the one that I would go with because it's relatively short. It was not the most expensive lever action that I own, and it's a 44 Magnum 44 Special, so it doesn't have a whole lot of kick, and it doesn't have a scope on it either, because when I think of a truck gun, I wouldn't necessarily have a scope on it, but there's nothing wrong with the scope. I just choose, you know, for a lever action, I would choose not to have one, even though I do have a lever action with a scope. But this, out of the 3 lever actions that I have, would probably be my top choice to be a truck gun, although I really wouldn't use it. I have been thinking about getting an older, more beat up version of this gun to be a truck gun, but I wouldn't use this particular one. So yeah, a good lever action rifle, whether it's a 44, 30-30, 357, 45-70, if you want to be a little overkill. Next, a good 22 rifle. Now, I don't necessarily have any rhyme or reason for having this one out over any of my other 22s, other than the fact that it was in the same safe that some of these other guns were already in, so I just pulled this one out. But I do have, you know, 1022s, Marlin Model 60s. All those would be great options. This particular one is a Savage Mark II. Probably wouldn't be my first choice, but like I said, it was already in the safe that I was digging guns out of, so I went with it over opening up another safe. So, you know, 10 rounds of 22, bolt action. You could put a scope on it if you wanted. Very inexpensive 22. I forget how much I paid for this, but it wasn't that expensive. It was like, I want to say it was like $150 or less. I could be wrong on that, but it was not a very expensive rifle, so therefore I would not be afraid to lose it. And last but not least, this gun I bought specifically to be a truck gun. This is a Mossberg 500. Any pump action 12 gauge shotgun would do. I just went with this particular one because I actually bought this one to be a truck gun. It is old, scratched up, beat up, has some weird paint on it that you wouldn't find on a normal Mossberg 500 because somebody tried to do a paint job on it. Very loose and smooth action, and it has this weird side saddle plate on the side with no side saddle. So, you know, it's just an old beat up shotgun. Wasn't very expensive. It was like $145, so wouldn't necessarily be afraid of having it stolen either. So yeah, this is my official truck gun. I don't necessarily carry it in my truck all the time, but it does make for a good truck gun, especially when you're going out to the farm or something. I like to carry a shotgun with me. Anyway, those are my 6 truck guns, 5 and 1 honorable mention. I think they make good options. Of course, there are other options, like, some people like to use 30-06. 30-06 is good, or any of those big bolt action, like hunting guns, those work too. I do have other guns that I would like to put in this 5 guns video, but it's only 5 guns. If I did a 10 gun video, I would have more guns, obviously. So this is not the end-all be-all list of truck guns because other people have their own opinions. This is just, some of the guns that I personally would probably use for a truck gun, either now or in the future. So, that's it for that video. Subscribe to my channel, like me on Facebook. I'm RedneckMini14, and until next time, be safe.